Back to Haylett RV after 14 years, a big classic rear den quad slide Jayco designer. Originally, Mr. Haylett's demo RV here at Haylett RV, sold to its one and only original owner. They used it, lived in it for 3 months out of the year in Arizona. They found like a house or something like that, like a cottage or a condo, and just no longer needed their winter home, effectively. This is a classic rear den floor plan. There's actually twin sliding privacy doors that will slide closed to block that off right there. And over the years, this has seen some use. Again, for what, 14 years? They lived in it 3 months out of the year. And that is way more than the expected use of something built at the time this was built. Again, construction methodologies and expectations and things have changed. But overall, considering the level of use that's gone into it, I was expecting worse, frankly. So originally there were a couple recliners back here. Obviously the previous owners either used those up and replaced them and kept their own chairs, or whatever the case may be. The point is, you kind of have the opportunity here to sort of build your own adventure and decorate this thing however you please. There are day-night shades all over through the living area here, although the previous owners seemed not to enjoy the original factory valances and lambrequins. As you can see, that all of the window treatments have actually been removed. So that's one of those things. I think it looks clean. And what's funny is a lot of newer RVs, they're actually starting to do exactly this. They're starting to build things without valances and lambrequins because it gives it a clean, minimalist look. Hardwood cabinet doors throughout, by the way. Where am I? Oh, entertainment center over here. I knew I was forgetting something. Only, you know, the whole point of the living room. The entertainment center, the whole TV actually slides forward and then it can pivot. So if you are sitting at, if you had some rear chairs or rear sofa or something back here, you're good to go. I see a lot of people will actually put in like a rear table. They'll take out chairs and put a rear table back here, because then when you're eating breakfast, you've got just all these windows around you, which is really handy. Another neat thing on these rear den models is that if you have guests, in a way this is kind of like an awesome private rear bedroom. Or I'll talk to husband-wife couples every now and then where like one of them has sleep apnea and they just can't sleep together. So you kind of have two private bedrooms. I do like the little office station here. Again, being our, you know, in-house nerd, I'm always thinking, where can I put a computer? But that's just me. Anyway, hide-to-bed sofa over here, classic inner spring style. And what's nice is, as long as you can fit anything within that slide, again, you could exchange furniture. Now, as we pass through here, up on our way, we're actually going to meet them a little more when we go outside. I'm not necessarily shooting the video in the order that you're seeing it today. So in chronological terms, we've already met Mr. Aaron Dershel, but in terms of how you're viewing this video, this is the first time you've seen him. We're going through and he's just making sure that everything fires up. You know, it's the air conditioning is working. I can feel that right now off the generator. Water heater fires right up. He's even going through and making sure that every single light fires up so that we know exactly what kind of shape and condition this thing is in, so you know what to expect. Refrigerator also doing a bang-up job. Big pantry next to the fridge. That's you know, something that tell me when there's ever too much storage in the kitchen. Another thing this has, which is pretty uncommon today, it was pretty common when this was built though, is a 10 cubic foot gas electric fridge freezer, which was about the biggest fridge freezer short of a 4-door. Well, it always has been the biggest fridge freezer short of a 4-door you can put in an RV. It was about the biggest you'd ever normally see in a fifth wheel, without the exception of a few real specialized jobs. Now here in the kitchen area, the previous owner went through and replaced some of the shades with a very residential, like plantation style wooden blind, which I like because you can actually clean them. And the original table and chairs looks like it has been swapped out for this tiny job right here. But you know what? It eats less space into the coach, and it also is plenty enough for just 2 people. Those are folding chairs. You can fold those chairs up out of the way, get that out of there if you want. That's cool. You can take those chairs back there, have a little hangout if you're so interested. Now, you're going to find, kind of like that, the basement area that we're going to see outside, there is a lot of stuff left over in cabinets in here. There's a lot of additional things that you may find left behind that the previous owners put in here that they just don't need anymore because they are not using their RV anymore. The end result here is that what you see is what you get. When you take it home, if you don't want it, throw it away. It's yours. You do whatever you want with it. So there's no harm, no foul there. The countertop and prep space in here is actually pretty outstanding too. I like that they recessed the stove. That was way ahead of its time. A lot of RVs are still only now just starting to do that to maximize your prep area. And this is a classic thing you don't see a lot nowadays. And that this is not just a recessed sink, it's actually a one-piece molded countertop and sink. It's all one piece, so there's no seams where water can get in there, cause any problems anywhere. Are you finding anything we got to be concerned about, Mr. Aaron?
No, just a couple little lights don't work.
Little light bulbs here and there. Awesome.
Fan might just need to be clean there. It's not going up far enough to trigger the sensor. So.
Okay, so nothing, just a couple light bulbs wouldn't fix, and maybe, you know, a quick clean. All right, cool. There you go, guys. We just went through it, and there's the word from the horse's mouth.
But you turn the generator off when you're done.
I called you a horse. Right when you walk in the door, I love this hidden control panel right here, guys. Oh, that's neat. They didn't just upgrade the awning. That's a one-touch awning. It fully, you touch it one time, it'll fully extend. You touch it one more time, fully retract. Although you do have a manual mode to turn that off. That is cool. They spent some money on that. That was not standard when this was built brand new. Handy little coat closet right when you walk in the door to, you know, hang a coat. What else would it be for? Now, this was made when we had a classic split bath master suite, and Mr. Aaron was kind enough to close those wardrobe doors. So unfortunately, you're going to get to see a little bit of my chubby reflection in that thing right now. 70 by 80 king bed in here, and what I like is it's not just a king bed, but I mean, it's a king bed with plenty of walk-around space, and those side stands, again, way ahead of its time. Perfect for today's CPAP machine, since it seems like everybody and their brother seems to be using those things. Man, I remember when bedrooms looked like this. Just a lot of bedrooms today, it seems like the minimalist thing has taken over, but just storage upon storage upon storage upon storage. They just didn't waste anything. This is just absolutely massive, and it continues over here in this big stackable ready washer dryer prepped closet, which is big enough that you could probably hide a human coffin in here if you need to. Hopefully, you never have need to hide a human coffin in your Jayco Designer. Max Air or Fantastic, I'm not sure which brand it is. That looks like a, I don't know, doesn't matter. Fan, the bigger fan in the bathroom. Previous owner looks like they hung a little towel hanging rack in here. Pretty good idea. And a classic corner open shower concept. Again, the idea behind this is this style of construction, because this coach is already big and it was already pushing a lot of trucks. It was pushing the limits of almost any truck, general consumer truck that is, when this was built. The idea behind this is that it keeps the RV significantly shorter, which helps with cost, it helps with weight, it helps with a lot of things, and it was just the style of construction at the time. In today's market, you tend to see private bathrooms and bedrooms because trucks got bigger, stronger, heavier, and they could carry more things. I think this weighs about 13.3 or something, so it's still a pretty big hoss. You're still going to want, probably, with the hitch weight of this, you'd probably be good on a 1-ton single rear wheel, or maybe a heavy-duty 3/4 ton. It really just depends on the strength and capacities of your specific vehicle. Well, what's nice about working with us here at Haylett RV, we are very towing educated. A lot of us actually come from automotive stock before we moved over into the auto or RV industry. So things like towing knowledge, that's something that we are in tune with, and we've been doing for years. Before we were Haylett RV, we were Haylett Auto, and really in truth we're Haylett Auto and RV. So whether it's, like I said, towing, hitching, you have questions on anything, obviously we like to go through and make sure everything's in good working order. Now again, guys, it's an 05. It's had some use. It's had some stress. Like where the wall panels meet right here, there was enough stress from travel and flexing that the seam tape on those panels split. But it's tape. It's not actual structure. And, that's just what's going to happen over time. Now, up here, if you're looking, you're going, oh my God, was that a soft spot in the ceiling? And no, it's not. We've tapped all around that. You can see the waviness on that roof right there. That is from heat expansion and contraction. This thing had a ton of heat in the summer, or in the winter all over from the Arizona sun, and then even, in Michigan, we still get pretty decent heat. So it's shrank and expanded, and eventually it has to stretch, and that's the kind of stuff that happens. But that's normal on an 05. I'm not concerned that I see that. What I am glad to see, I don't see anywhere there's ever really been like a leak. I don't see a leak. I can't find soft spots. And obviously the appliances work. So if you're okay with a couple cosmetic items, and you don't mind tossing a little bit of furniture of your own in here, you're going to get a pretty solid deal on something that, frankly, if your goal is like, hey, listen, we just want to have something we can put in a park, we're not interested in towing or whatever, this thing's going to be fine. You're going to be very, very happy with how much coach you get versus the money you have to spend to get it with this thing right here. Considering the time it spent in the Arizona sun, overall the exterior doesn't look too awful worse for the wear. The previous owners just being done RVing, kind of like you saw in the kitchen cabinets. There's a lot of stuff that they just don't need anymore. So there's a whole gaggle full of random assortments, accessories, steps, looks like heaters, stools, jacks, all kinds of different little things out here. Whole totes full of stuff over there. Totes my goats. So long story short, it's yours if you want it. It's gone if you don't. Say hello to Mr. Dershel, everybody. Mr. Aaron Dershel, he's our consignment officer. He's the one that actually listed this here on consignment. It literally just landed. We're both kind of working at the same time around one another just to try to keep up with the business demand that we have going on. He's actually going through and just making sure that everything's in good working order on this, because here's what neither of us want to happen. You don't want to call us and say, I just bought a used fifth wheel from you and there's a problem. And we don't want you to call us and say, hey, I just bought a used fifth wheel from you. There's a problem. Neither you nor I, nor Aaron, nor anyone here at Haylett RV wants to have that conversation. So we like to go through and proactively check things to the best of any reasonable human ability to make sure they are good to go. You can see slide awnings were added to all 4 awnings here. That's something Mr. Haylett actually always has done on any of his demos. The Awning 5500 generator, I think I've already mentioned, fires up like a champ, chugging away. The strong arm stabilizers, for if you're going to be like at a location long term, these things make this thing, it's just so sturdy, so steady. It just doesn't go anywhere. It just doesn't do anything. Now, the way that RVs are designed and built structurally has changed over the years, especially Jayco's. They have a like a big box tube steel frame upper deck, and they did that to avoid this specific potential occurrence. There is the beginnings, it is early, it is the beginnings of a stress fracture right here, just from towing stress. You know, everything is built with an intended lifespan, and given the intended lifespan of this RV when it was built, that was normal and to be expected. And they are building things with longer expected lifespans nowadays, at least Jayco is, which is why they've changed their upper deck construction since then. Am I really worried about what I see there? No. No, with probably less maintenance on that than the roof itself will require, which you'll see in a little bit, you're going to be good to go. Now, shoot, I meant to open that up. I knew I'd forget to do that. This is something that you just don't see a lot of nowadays. It's actually like the window pops out, and it kind of creates like just an extra little alcove right there next to your dining area. Nice little place to put like a little potted plant or something like that. The window, it's kind of funny just looking back through history. These windows are made by a company called Hare, which is not a brand that really you see on RVs. They still make RV windows, you just don't see them much anymore. Just kind of, I saw them, like, oh yeah, I remember when they did that. Has nothing to do with the coach, it's just sort of a little me reminiscing about older times. The accessory hitch on the back, that's something Mr. Haylett always, oop, I just ran into something. Mr. Haylett puts on his coaches, and the reason he likes to do that is he likes to bring along a bike rack, and he likes it. He likes to keep the bikes strapped to the camper whenever he's not there. So that he noticed once he didn't used to do that, and he noticed that whenever he came back to his campsite after a week, his bikes were always moved. Like somebody went and had a good time with them and then brought them back, and that really kind of annoyed him. So he started strapping them to the bike rack every time he left, just to kind of eliminate that pause and potential right there. Now, the original awning actually went through a power awning retrofit upgrade. So you look at it at a glance, you're like, that's a manual awning. But then you look at the heads up here, you go, oh, maybe that is a power awning. There's basically there's a conversion kit that you could put on these to convert it over to a power awning, which is kind of cool. So there she is from ground level. Let's talk to Major Tom up at ground control and get up on the sky and see how this thing looks. That's a terrible reference. The roof looks about how I would expect the 05 roof to look, especially for something that was used 3 months of the year in the Arizona sun. Eventually persistence wears out resistance, something that we're all probably familiar with. And eventually Arizona sun is going to have its way with anything petroleum based. That being said, I think the previous owners did about the best job they probably could have trying to keep this thing, wash, condition, protected from the sun. It does look like they were very active in their resealing and whatnot. The roof material here, it will, I tell you what, if you want to take this RV home, and remember, you're not paying anywhere near the new RV price tag on one of these things, you are probably going to want to stay right on top of your wash and UV conditioning. Here in the Midwest, with the weather that we get, you're probably going to be fine. If you do want to take this to the Arizona, Florida sun, plan on spending a little more time, care, and maintenance on this. You might want to wash and condition it maybe 2-3 times a year instead of 1 or 2 a year that we'd have here in the Midwest. But short of that, if you have other questions, Don't hesitate to give us a call here at Haylett RV. You can probably hear the generator chugging around right now. We're actually going through and just making sure that everything's in good working order. The generator fired right up in a heartbeat, which is nice. But short of that, you can see that we've got lots of different things here. So whether it's hitching pieces, parts, trades, financing, truck and trailer package deals, RV delivery, and everything else in between, give us a call here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan. Take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone. Oh, there goes a little Jay Feather right now. Look at that guy. Bye, Jay Feather!